All right, everybody, welcome to the finals. We're gonna have Team GCD play against Team Saints for complete domination. My name is Amanas, and my co-star and the one and only David, and we're here to guide you through the matches.
Yeah, and we do want to remind you this is sponsored by Republic of Gamers Asus PC Masters, and it's powered by Contender. We have quite a game or a couple of games, hopefully, laid out for us. GCG did win their semifinal match in a convincing fashion, right? It was a clean sweep. Oh, so they are the favorites going into the finals.
Well, it has been kind of an underdog story, so we'll see how that goes. But yes, you're quite right. They're clearly the favorites. The clean sweep over Citizens was spectacular. They capitalized on a lot of their opportunities, didn't let the game get too far behind, and we're hoping we can see some of that from them today.
Yeah, we are. They're notorious for keeping a gold lead when they get it. So we're hoping Saints does not give them a gold lead to work with, because once they get that, they've won the game.
Yeah. They have an iron grip on the game most times out of none, and even when they do get behind, they rarely get let it get too far behind. So we're gonna
Mm.
go into pick and bangs real quick, and yeah, let's discuss. Okay, from the side of the Saints, we have Aurelia Band top, Darius Band, Darius Band top, and MF. Hmm. And from from the side of GCD, we have Zed, Corky, Kaiser. I believe that's Zed, Corky mid, and Kaiser ADC. Then we have the Morgana and Vladbat from the Saints, and we have an Ash and Victor. So three picks towards the mid laner from the Saints, and what looks to be three picks towards the top laner from GCG. So I think we have our how will I say supposed carries for this game, and yeah, we'll see how those work. Most last two bands seem to be targeted at the bot lanes. Maybe probably trying to keep the carries under control. What do you think, David?
Well, it is quite interesting, right? We are seeing three bands go straight at the top laner. So you can tell the Saints research. They've seen that the top laner is the way GCG likes to take over the game. I am surprised that there are no bans going towards the jungle because I feel like you take out G's jungler and the rest of the map is just going to suffer. And then on the other, Saints have been, I mean, we've seen the Star of Morning has put in so much effort in getting his team to perform. So it makes sense to put bans into him. What I would have liked to see is them attack a weak point and push an advantage from there. If you know your top lane is your strongest, is the strongest part of your team, give him the easiest time ever. Take out the strong champions of his opponent, let him run with the lane, spread that gold lead to the rest of the map.
You're quite right. And we have going to picks now. Interesting. It seems to be a lane swap from the Saints. The Mazahar goes mid, and the Star of Morning goes bot with ADC. I wonder why they picked. From the looks of it, they might be to do with the Juggernaut setup because they don't seem to have a true hyper carry, and if they have a Kongwa Lulu, and as we all know, that is a monstrous scaling late game. So I mean, with Malzahar to completely lock out one person from the fight, probably the Echo or the Set going in, maybe the Garen. We could seem to see what's it called, a late game scaling team comp. I don't know how that's going to work versus GCG because GCG tends to keep leads and also tends to not be behind by much. So if they don't play for maybe an early kind of pick and maybe early kind of skirmish just to get like a slight lead, it's probably going to be difficult for them to get a free scaling, especially considering they have set Garen mid game with Leona ult and Ashe ult, any single mistake could lead to devastating losses. What do you think, David?
That right there, I think, is pivotal because I prefer GCG's draft. It's a lot easier to execute.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
bunch of press Rs with direct access into the backline. Whereas on the side of the Saints, they only have one person really protecting the Kog'Maw. If you're going to draft a Kog'Maw comp, I expect to see a little bit more protection, a little bit more frontline, a little bit more peel or C. But we have to see how they execute. I'm sure they have a plan going into the game. It's just draft-wise, I'm preferring Gold Ghost Gaming.
Uh, let's get into game and see how it
Yeah,
goes, shall we?
yeah.
Straight rush towards the openings from both teams. It
Welcome
would
to
seem nobody's
Summoner's
going to
Rift.
make for any cheeky invades. Viego is going to check into the Echo.
30
They
seconds
see each
until
other, they
minions
handshake,
spawn.
and they drop a ward. We have a ward from the Saints from GCG bot side, just to make sure, and some free gold for the Lulu.
Hey, this thief, at least used to be called Spell Thief, has to be the best item to start with if you know you can get free auto attacks off. And when you're playing into Leona in bot lane, she's a melee support versus a range support. You are gonna get free
Minions have
gold, and it's up to
spawned.
Leona to deny that free gold by having like proper bush control.
Yeah. Um. Let's see then. Bot start from Diego. Bot start from both sides. So his top lane, the top lane seems to be maybe the priority this game. I'd have thought that either trying to get the early Kog'Maw, ahead, or trying to hinder the Kog'Maw from the Echo would have been the plan. But no, it seems both times are going to go for top lane early.
I mean, it makes sense for GCG to focus the top lane. It's what we said earlier. The top lane is where your carry comes from. You want that to snowball, you want to get ahead. And in a snowballing matchup like Seth into Ilawi, where if Ilawi gets fed, suddenly she's 1v2ing, 1v3ing. You want to ensure Seth can lock her down.
True. And we have seen the top lane from GCG be the carry multiple
Well, there's a fight
times.
breaking
Oh,
out here. Prox Trunker, that's a good chunk. Ilawi's already down to 40% HP beginning of the game, and you have the same thing happening in the bot. Just
yeah.
simple trades going back and forth. But even a lot more for Kog'Maw than they do for Ashe, because Ashe doesn't have that kill threat level 1, level 2. But Kog'Maw can just run you down with the speed up from Lulu. And the fact that he has shields constantly means he effectively has, at the very least, 150 bonus health at any point in the lane. So the health you see isn't his real health. And I'm hoping GC... another fight in the top lane.
And the Larry seems to be getting put on the back foot. And since I guess both ADCs know that the jungler started bot side, Kog'Maw has free range to just chomp on the enemy bot lane.
He's getting some free CS. He's
Yes.
getting some
So
free CS there.
we can see there's a ward by GCG, probably to avoid the level 2 gank from Diego, but I'm not seeing why that ward is necessary. And the top lane is meat. Diego managed to get the scuttle crab, and I think they see each other there. Yeah, they handshake on the strive flanks. They see each other and they go clear their last camps.
I mean, what we are watching right now is the bot lane, and we already see the big advantage you have in the lane versus melee matchup, where Leona and Ashe is out of mana, and Leona is out of HP, and the Kog'Maw and Lulu are still sitting really nicely. I mean, Kog'Maw looks to have started call, so he knew going into this lane that he was going to get to free farm. He's playing that
Yeah.
really well, and we see that in the gold difference already. That extra one gold and lane control is actually creating a gold difference.
It
We
is
see
actually.
this ping's coming out in the river.
It seems are they contesting the crab? No, they're giving it up. Their jungler is not close by. And yeah, the Echo gets the bot lane crab and exerts some pressure. The Saints have to step back a bit, just give a little bit of respect to the Echo. They do not want to get absolutely destroyed, I'm assuming. And the
I like
set
what
is
Set is doing. Like
punishing
he's
the lane.
walking up, yeah, he's punishing her, and he's not just punishing her, he's walking up, clearing the tentacles, and fighting her in the minions, getting his bonus W. We see a fight break on the bot lane, Echo comes and throws his W down, power converges, first blood comes
And they
out on
get
the
the first
tower.
blood on the Caldwell.
Viego comes in also, he stuns the Ashe, he gets his Q off, he flashes, doesn't get the kill. Ashe is still walking away. Lulu flashes also, it's a kill, trade
And
back 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Fight
perfect.
happening in the top lane also, full bar.
Oh!
Ilaoi walks away with just 100 health. And this fight's going on everywhere. It's a
Yeah.
bloody first game.
Yeah. But it seems mid lane is the only lane that both lanes are just shoving. But yeah, as you said, it's been quite a bloody start. Kog'Maw does walk back to lane though with two huge waves in front of him. That yeah, it's okay. I mean, he gets an assist and two waves. I don't think it's too bad for him. But Viego getting a kill there early on the trade back is probably insanely valuable for Team Saints. It gives them some staying power to make sure that they don't fall too far behind and too quickly behind. So yeah, I'd say that was quite a good counter gank there.
I feel like we have to talk about this Garen pick mid. This is the second time it's been picked by this player in the tournament. He loves his melee mid, and Garen seems
Yeah,
to be his favorite. He's just like, whatever I'm facing, give me that Garen, that scaling armor and magic
yeah,
resist. Let me run at mages and silence them.
yeah, and it seems to be working out quite well, as you said. Gen has the tanking ability to just mostly just ignore most mages in the early game. He can
We
just
are
walk at you, regen, and like they don't have the kill threat, so he essentially gets a free lane as long as they don't die, I guess.
we are
Walking
seeing the dragon being like Diego's trying to sneak the
and
dragon. Echo comes in, and I
Echo
think
goes
he
standing
tries to
still. He
steal
doesn't
the
have ult.
dragon.
He
He
steals
steals
it,
the dragon.
but he
He
has no
steals the
ult.
dragon.
He's
And they're
getting
chasing him
chased
down, but
down.
Leona is stopping
No
any
ult.
form of damage coming in. Mazza
Yeah,
walking down from top
and
lane. We
Diego
kill
gets a
him.
kill
So it's a dragon trade for a kill.
for a
That
kill.
cannot be worth it because Viego invested the last 30 seconds into trying to kill a dragon. Echo just comes
And
in for free and
yeah, and
steals it.
steals it. It's apparently from as you can see, Diego did not actually smite there. So yeah, I wonder what happened there. Like just a mistimed or the echo execute damage came in as a surprise.
Ooh, he gets the stun, he gets the showstopper, and
Oh, and
we're
the
going away from
Ilaoi
Reku
has the
because there's
flash
more
off,
fights going on bot
and the
lane.
Lulu
Lulu gets
dies.
killed.
Apparently she was going for a pink ward, and yeah, she got the Leona wombo combo.
It does feel like whenever top lane is fighting, bot lane is also fighting, and we're having to split ourselves between the
And
action.
Mazhar ults and the Garen, and they trade ults, but Garen ignites and has the flash also. And Ashe dies in bot lane with the Viego gank. Can they get the Leona too? Kog'Maw doesn't have W, but they cannot.
We have a stun
And we
coming
go
out on
back
top
home.
lane. Ilaoi misses her. Oh, she misses it. She
Oh,
misses the E, and Set just walks
and
away.
she
That's an
missed.
ult down with a full wave coming into
Yeah,
her
but
tower.
Set ulted also. What did Set ult there? I think he missed his ult.
I mean, that's a very weird interaction. He gets the W off, he gets the kill,
Oh,
and he
and he
walks away.
flashed. That was so beautiful. That was such a beautiful combo.
So Ilawi's decision to engage on the set there in the middle of like three stacked waves of caster minions setting her. I mean, she literally committed suicide there under the tower. You can't hit an enemy champion if there are a lot of minions there with an auto
Yeah,
attack.
you
They
get
will start
punished.
attacking you. And before you hit level 10, level 11, those minions will do a lot of damage to you. They're taking so much of your health with every auto attack.
Yeah, you will get punished, and they got punished.
We
But
are seeing, I'm not, okay, no, he was just standing there. I think he was tapping to one of his teammates. We are seeing Viego clear out his red. Echo moving into the mid lane, into the top side river. I'm hoping he's looking for an invade here. Ping's come out to mid lane, so maybe he's coming mid lane. Malzahar does have almost no HP. The 30% HP.
yeah.
Parallel convergence comes out.
Oh, he pops the
He hits
passive.
the
He's
stun, yeah,
and
and
some
it's a
people,
flash and it's a
yeah,
kill.
some people
And
forget
he
that.
uses his ult.
Some people forget that Echo's E does follow Flash. You have to flash early to make sure he doesn't get in range. But he messes the flash timing up, and Echo follows. They go for a gang top, but the clever pink ward placement sees that out early, and it saves the top laner's life. So as we can see, gold is even, but from the playmakings, we can see that it's mostly going to the side of the Saints. Oh, Lowry getting some good train stall, and
There is
yeah, it's hard to decide how or like where the game is heading to, but the top lane seems to be one of the main priorities, and gold lead wise, since the Saints are hanging in there. I mean, as we said, it was up to them to make sure that the goalie didn't get too far back. And we would also
Stun
engage.
comes out, both
Double
ults come out,
CC,
E comes onto
the
Cogmore.
Ash
He's
flashes,
flashing forward into the Ash. He gets the kill on the Ash.
and
Leona's
it
left by
does a
herself.
double
She's
kill.
walking away. She's walking away. She isn't trying. She turns around now, trying to kill. No, just to stun. Cogmore
Yeah,
keeps walking on. This
and they
Leona
get the
has to
kill
be
though.
dead. If she was running away, she had to just run
There's a little
away.
polymorph, and she does live though. She does
She
live.
lives. She lives with 80 HP.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that there's trades going on constantly in the top lane, but we haven't actually seen a solo kill outside of what happened on the tower. We haven't seen a clean solo kill from all the work Seth is putting in on trying to beat Ilawi down. And we also haven't seen anything really happen in the mid lane. So the Ilawi is getting to scale up for free. The Garen is getting to scale up for free, and we aren't really seeing jungler attention counter the people who are winning in these lanes. So the fight's out there, set ults her, the ult comes out from Malawi, we see her harsh less than 2 second
Ooh, the
cooldown,
passive.
the W comes out, and they just walk away. This is what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
top
They're
lane
fighting
trades.
and walking away,
This top lane
trading with
trades.
ultimates.
Yeah. But despite all these trades, though, as we can see, the set seems to have the most pressure in this situation. Like despite all the trades, because Ilawi
He
has been on the back foot.
he keeps walking up and getting these free face breakers into Larry. She's not
Yeah.
respecting his space and she's not committing to a fight. The top laner from the Saints has to establish some kind of dominance.
Yeah.
Protect your tentacles, trade in the middle of your tentacles, and
And
win the fight.
he dodges, and he gets a good trade. Nice. He uses his face breaker to make sure he doesn't take too much damage on this trade. Also, like excellent timing on his use of face breaker. It seems Dragon is the pick. They see the I believe they saw the Echo top lane, so they rush straight to Dragon, which is the right play. And she dies under her tower. She took the wrong trade at the wrong moment, and yeah. But they do get Drake for free. I believe Echo is doing the Herald, so it's a trade of objectives and a free kill top for Team GCG. Macro wise, they started to pull ahead of the gold lead, and if they drop this Herald and get plates in top or mid, they can get a tower mid if they want. You can see this gold balloon.
Yes, yes. So one thing GCG has been on top of the whole tournament is actually their focus on objectives. They don't let objectives go by for free. So they take the Herald, and we want to, like you said, we want to see them use that Herald in the mid lane. Open up that mid lane, create more jungle invade paths.
Mm.
Granted, Echo has not done a single invade the whole game. He has been keeping to his side of the river. We want to see more aggressiveness. They have a 1K gold lead now. We want to see them use it somewhere. If
Yeah.
they are trying to win this game, they have to be the aggressors. Kog'Maw is scaling. His scaling beats Ash, beats Garen. And
And there's a
if he
fight
becomes
top
a
lane.
monster, game is
Larry
over.
flashes, but gets the set all to the face, and she just dies. Oh, and I believe Echo is putting Herald down at the back of mid, but just as plates fall, so unfortunately they do not get any money from this. I'd have liked to see him use it earlier. Kog'Maw is unleashing and bot lane. As you can see, he's already starting to exploit his storm, and there's a TP behind bot.
All comes out from here.
Oh,
All comes out for Ash. They don't layer the CC. Sorry, they layer the CC. They don't stack it. Q comes out from Ash. He's killing. Kog'Maw just stands there hitting her. Now it's 4 people in the bot lane. That Lulu is definitely dead. It's a 2 for 0. No, 2 for 1. The Kog'Maw passive comes out, killing the Ash. For those of you who don't know, Kog'Maw, when he dies, he has a surprise for his enemies. He becomes unstable, walks around, and explodes doing true damage.
I believe Ash did not respect the damage, and they needed to focus down the Kog'Maw immediately. Oh, Garen goes in on the flashes on the Malzahar, but it was just a bait. He gets ulted, and Viego follows up. Beautiful. This is the type of plays I was talking about from the Saints that they need to do in the early game with the Malzahar ults to make someone, sit for about 2 seconds into Viego. Like, they need to get that kind of pressure in other lanes to give the Kog'Maw free time for scaling, and we see it here. They get the kill, and Malzahar gets a free push in tower. And a lot of people may not know this, but Malzahar is one of the best pushing champions in the mid lane. And Lulu Flash polymorphs into the Echo.
Viego comes in, he misses his W. They are trying to focus Echo, but no, Leona is telling them, I'm going to be set. No, Viego ults forward, and okay. They turn around to kill the Leona, who was trying to sacrifice himself.
I don't believe the Kog'Maw has gotten any of the kills except for... I'm sorry. He got the from the passives, but for many of the ganks, the Viego has been getting most of the kills. So we might see a dual threat going into later this game. Kog'Maw Viego. Kog'Maw is getting strong. I believe that was a Blade of the Wind King proc on the Garen. And he's down to half HP. As you can see, we can see the makings of a huge threat.
Ash comes out, hits Kog'Maw. They actually have 5 people walking towards the bot lane. They're chasing, but the Lulu speed up, and he's out of there. Echo Power Convergence comes in.
And Garen does Garen things. The slows were too much, but we do have the Viego following up, and the Ash flashes. She was perhaps worried about getting the 100 to 0, but I don't think there was any need. They had the Leona coming up, but a good kill on the Kog'Maw, shut him down. Don't let him farm. Don't let him scale for free. And it's quite beautiful. And the Malzahar gets trapped between 2 people from a set roam. I believe he's just
Echo ult comes out there, which is really weird. I'm pretty sure he didn't have to ult there. But yeah, that is a dead Malzahar on the screen. We get a mastery flash from In the Dark as he clears out a ward. There is dragon spawning in, I think, under a minute. We see the ward line actually belongs to the Saints currently. You expect with a gold lead that GCG has their focus on this dragon.
I believe they start putting down some wards now. They clear some pink wards. I wonder though, I don't believe the Saints seem to be playing for this dragon. Viego is towards the top, farming his Grom. Set is already recalling, probably to run straight to Drake, as he does not have his TP. Yes, we can see a early recall running straight to Drake. It seems both teams are running to Drake. Ilawi does not have TP. So are they going to give this up? Recall from Viego just now. As we can see,
I actually would not mind the Saints giving up this dragon.
Yeah.
Because you have a Kog'Maw who has a lot of gold and a Viego who has a lot of gold. Those are 2 champions with a lot of % health damage in their kit. If they give this stuff push lanes, and Kog'Maw gets caught out. Cleanses almost instantly. He's running away, but Leona still has ult. Echo uses Proto Belt to get caught up.
And he dies. Yeah.
So TP comes out. Lulu also dies. That's a free TP from Ilawi. She turns it on.
She tries to go for the middle, and she gets ulted from her thing, and 3 for 0. And a Drake. This is not looking good for the Saints. As we were saying, they did not have pressure on the Drake. The Cogmar being there was a bit ambitious for him, pushing up the line of vision with his face. I believe. I mean, the ADC should not be in that kind of position, but
Kog'Maw was saying, "I'm gonna go where I want to go," and
and he
everybody
forgot
has
he
to
was
deal
not a
with it.
Mundo.
He's
uh,
doing his best window impersonation, yeah. But
yeah, they capitalized perfectly on it, and yeah,
we
it
see
pays off,
GCG
and
turning their eyes towards the next Rift Herald. I actually didn't look at the time. The Rift Herald was going to spawn long before the Baron spawned. So if the Saints had given up that Drake and gotten complete river control on the side of the Rift Herald, they get that for free, cracked open a few towers because they are behind in towers. They're behind 3k gold right now. Getting towers equalizes that gap.
I believe they would definitely. Ah, it's hard to say. As we said, it's really difficult for the Saints because, as we know from GCG, coming back, they never really give the opponents opportunities for comebacks. I mean, they do have some low hanging fruits with the mid tower and the top tower. It looks to be quite low, but they it's really difficult to capitalize when all their lanes generally are winning except for bot lane. And all they really have to do is put pressure on bot lane and let all the other lanes scale for free.
Talked about that earlier. The fact that the team comp that the Saints has drafted isn't drafted to actually protect a Cogmore. So if you're Ash Arrow, Leona set ultimate, and a Garen who's just gonna run at you, you need more than just Lulu to protect your Cogmore.
True, true. But they do, as I said, they do get the low hanging fruits. They have the mid and top tower down, so the gold it's only 2,000 behind now. Um, as long as it's parity versus the game yesterday, the day versus Citizens, where they kept it, they GCG kept a 2k gold deficit, and they scaled. But I don't know if they're going to let the Saints do the same versus them.
We see that the focus is going towards the mid tower. I have seen this across the tournament where we have three people in the lane sharing experience at the same time. I do want to
Oh, good
hope Ash
Ash
Arrow
ult.
comes out, it hits the
But there's no
Viego. I mean, the
punish.
team is
There's no
coming in.
punish.
That's Ash Arrow stuns you longer the further away she is. Leona
Viego
ultimate
flashes,
comes out,
gets Leona
Viego's running
ult.
away.
They're chasing the
Leona
Viego
flashes
and they're
follows up.
chasing the Ash. Oh, Kog'Maw is fighting the Echo. The Echo ults back. He turns around on the Ash. He flashes a strange flash. I think. Oh, and they get 2 kills.
Mazar drops his
2 for 3.
visions on Leona. He gets a
Three
kill
for
back,
three.
and it's a 3 for
So
3.
it's 3 for 3. Yeah. I believe that favors the Saints getting gold into your team. Any even for trades is always good.
We did
Uh,
see one major shutdown go over. Echo dropped his shutdown going into Viego. And we have to shift the focus from the Cogman now to the Viego, who actually has most of the gold on the same side. If he gets resets full tanky members with really good abilities that he's stealing, he gets one reset off, and they should be able to win the team fight.
ex- exactly as I said earlier, you're quite correct. With the Diego getting a lot of the kills for most of these plays, he becomes a huge threat for the enemy team. Okay, they placed the Herald mid, the second Herald. I don't believe that's going to kill the tower, but it does put a lot of pressure on them to defend the tower at all times. A single Ash W could could take down the tower now, so they definitely have to stay mid. This puts a humongous amount of pressure on their bot lane. And as you see, next week is coming up in less than a minute. They're already
The
fighting for
flash and the
vision.
Garen
The
comes out,
Garen
silences the
flashes into
Kog'Maw.
the
Kog'Maw is running
Cogmar.
away. Leona
Cogmar
ult
gets
completely
ulted.
misses.
Oh, perfect Garen. He face checks. The Cogmar passive does reduce the Ash to low HP. The Malzahar flashes on the Ash to ult. He gets the kill. Echo is chasing the Malzahar, but I don't think he's going to be able to live through this. The Diego looks to follow up, but it's not possible. And yeah, the Kog'Maw used his face as a ward and got punished. Is it me or is the Lowry starting to turn the top lane around with his tentacles?
I mean, that's the nature of Alawi. As she's scaling, her tentacles are going to do a lot more damage. So you can't just walk into her for free. Unless Set is trying to one-shot her, he can't just trade in and out to Alawi. He does want to commit into that fight properly and just kill her one time out. He is ahead of her and should be able to do it. And I'm not understanding the hesitancy in the top lane. Both people have different strengths at different times and they're not executing on them. We do see that there is.
Oh, there's a catch on the Leona. The Garen needs to be running, but he gets Lulu polymorph. They have the TP. The Ash Hour goes wide. This is a 4v5. I wonder how they can play this perfectly. Oh, the Lowry's in the middle. She's completely. Oh, she and the Kog'Maw completely melt the steps. When the Garen gets chased by the Viego. That was a perfectly executed fight by the Saints. I believe GCG did not start with your CC as they always have. The combo so far has always been Ashe ult into Leona ult.
It gets stolen. Echo jumps into the Dragon Pit and steals it
and escapes. That was so beautiful.
They needed to put it out there. If the enemy jungler is alive, you need him to, and you know he has a way over the wall. You need to create some distance between him, between the dragon.
I believe the Saints are running better now.
They are. Oh yeah, and they still have smite, so they can get this. They can't get this Baron. Hopefully they're keeping people out of the pit and can't get the Baron. But now GCG is on soul point.
Yeah, I mean, we know the Echo goes in with ult and smite to be difficult for him to steal this also. But I wouldn't say they traded Baron for Dragon for Baron because they could have gotten both. They were not respectful of the Echo there, but it works out in the end. So.
I mean, what works out is we have to say that loosely because Baron has to be converted, but just getting Baron is not enough. The buff actually has to be used. You need to push minions, you need to get towers, and if they don't do that properly, they need to send Ilaoi to a side lane like she's going right now. But she actually has to push. She has to leverage her advantage in minions. If she has a level advantage there in gold, she can't just fluff around with the set. It can't be a wet noodle fight between two bruisers.
I mean, with this in mind, though, Ilaoi has kept her tower throughout this whole game, despite losing to the second lane. So, I mean,
she's planting her flag on this hill, and she's like, "Nobody is crossing this."
This is where I stand, and this is where I die. She picked a hill to die on, and
I mean, she's died twice on that hill.
I mean, fair, but she did. Top tower is safe under her watchful guidance.
Under her gray screen.
They are pushing mid, and Kog'Maw is he's reaching.
Leona ult comes down, hitting absolutely. Kog'Maw takes.
Echo goes in. Kog'Maw flashes from the Ashe ult. Set goes in,
gets the face breaker and gets cleansed. W comes out instead. It's a 4-for-1 currently. Kog'Maw is just killing people. He's shredding people.
Oh, that was. I think it's reached the point in the game where Kog'Maw is starting to become a serious threat. The set goes in to try and ult, and he gets instantly Malzahar ulted. I believe that might have been why the pick was made to prevent backline access. But yes, Kog'Maw is getting to become a scary little void monster.
He's doing Mundo percentage. He gets
Echo walks up and he gets, Echo goes in to try and clear the wave, but he goes in a bit too far, perhaps underestimating Kog'Maw's W range.
Possibly. People aren't used to changes in range from attacks. So Kog'Maw pops is that he can run out for about 7 whole seconds. And if you're not aware of that, you're free, like Echo did.
And they take the enemy's jungle as they leave. And I believe this is the first time in the game that the Saints have a gold lead. A 2.5k gold lead.
Yeah. So they used the Baron properly. They didn't let the Baron go to waste. They managed to get one tower and about 70% of another tower's HP. Baron buff is now, and we want to see them deny. Actually, it would be really nice of them to, if they wanted to close the game out, to not the soul point, which seems weird, but if you don't contest the soul point, Elbow comes out a lot faster. if you're still strong enough to protect your Kog'Maw, you just Elder Dragon on Kog'Maw means everybody dies in in 4 or less attacks.
You're quite right. I wonder if they will see that play. Mm, it will be quite interesting to see. There's also the idea that they could forego that to set up for Baron because another Baron play could potentially end the game.
Yes,
We have reached the
which is
point
what I
of the
want to
game.
see. I want to see them give up this dragon, take that mid tower, like keep mid pressure up, give up the dragon, take mid tower, take inhibitor, gives them enough time for Baron to spawn and take that and game off Baron into an Elder.
That sounds like a perfect plan. I wonder if they're going to go for it. An Ash, we can see an Ash ult going wide, probably going for the Kog'Maw in mid. They're probably keeping track of his sums and know that he doesn't have, cleanse or flash. It seems they are going to contest the dragon. Seth has level 16, Ilawi does not. But that healing is coming clutch. Seth is TPing early.
Which is
I believe
good
they
because
see the
Ilawi
TP, they're backing
doesn't
up.
TP.
Yes, and the Saints are backing off. They respect the TP. I wonder if they're going to give out the Drake. But they are going to. Oh, and Leona is getting melted by the Kog'Maw. So is the Echo. So is the Set. The Set can't seem to reach the Kog'Maw. Diego is a monster in the back line, stealing bodies. They managed to get the Echo. The Echo stuns all of them, yeah. And Kog'Maw gets a double kill, and Diego gets a double kill. And, yeah. They didn't give up the Drake.
I was wrong. They should not have given up the Drake. They should have, if they're gonna weigh kind of crime against GCG, they should definitely cut the Drake like they did. Because they kill, they get 4 for 0, I believe. No, 4 for 1, only Lulu dying, and they get the
Yeah.
mid tower, which will go into inhibitor. They can constantly run. They get that Baron, and they should be able to close out the game. Because again,
Yeah.
winning that fight ballooned their goal lead. They're now up 4K, well, almost 5K.
This is not looking good for GCG. The standard combo of Ashe ults, Leona ults, that have gotten them this far in the game. I don't know. They don't seem to be, prioritizing the combo anymore, or believe they're far ahead that they can just run in head first. I don't see why.
Their combo has been weird in the way they've been using it. They haven't been going through, wait for it to almost wear off. Leona ultimate, Leona comes in with an E. They've been stacking it as opposed to. Let me get my English correct. They haven't been using it sequentially. They've been putting it on top of each other and not actually getting as much value as they could from the CC.
True. I thought we were about to see another Bane of the Jungle, Pink Ward in the pit. Ash loses 70% of her HP to Baron. That was triggered by the Kog'Maw ult. And Baron seems to be the player in everybody's mind now. GCG absolutely cannot get this Baron because with an inhib down, I don't see how they defend versus a Baron push. The Echo seems to be in bot lane, farming Crab versus a Kog'Maw and a Malzahar. I do not know if that's the.
If that is the play.
Yeah, it's how do you stop the they seem to be starting it. I believe he was spotted on a ward, so they seem to be starting it with Malzahar and Kog'Maw. They absolutely do demolish the Baron. As we can see, the Echo is not
under
even
10
close
seconds.
enough. Yeah, the Echo was not even close enough to reach the pit.
What I would have liked to see there from the Saints is knowing fully well that this, from GCJ actually, knowing fully well this is the Saints win condition, is have vision control.
There,
you have so much CC, and you have to use that CC to get your vision control.
Yeah, they're waiting for the minions. They have the Baron, and like they're going to, like I said, like if they get the Baron, this is a game-ending play. Ashe flashed earlier. They have Baron, they have the minions, and they're walking as a 4-man death squad. Yeah, Kog'Maw is absolutely
frontline Kog'Maw. He eats an Ashe ultimate, but
like
Ashe walks up and
actually gets melted. Seth tries to run at the Kog'Maw and he gets destroyed before he can even get close. Kog'Maw has reached the end game, everyone. He presses W, and well, you go and see your forefathers. There's no other way to describe it. As we saw from that play, Set tries to run in. We have and it should not have gotten this. It should not have gotten this bad.
They,
They end the
they
game with a
made
7K gold lead.
they made a few interesting decisions there at the end, G, because one, you know Baron is the way they're going, that Saints are going to win the game, so you have to play around that. Yes, you have an inhibitor down, but you can still get this. You know the Saints are going to recall. You know you can set up a pick on them with only 3 people, because your Echo can one shot at least 3 people on nuts. You have Echo there, you have Leona with a bonus damage, you get a kill, you hopefully delay that Baron. And then at the very end there, instead of instead of drawing a line in the sand, they tried to flank. But if you flank, your Ashe is exposed, dies, you suddenly don't have slows. She uses her
Yeah,
ult very prematurely where nobody can capitalize on it.
yeah,
And they lose the game.
yeah. I mean, there was no qualms with them just waiting for the Saints get to the front of your 2 towers. Yes. Then you try and get a Leona ult on them, an Ashe ult on them. She altered the Kog'Maw in front of the inhib with all the minions there.
And she
The
walked up to
sets
ult.
and she walked exactly. She walked up to ult. The set is still far behind. They didn't even time the ult. Like the Kog'Maw, the ult wore off before the set could walk up to Kog'Maw. There was how do I say, a mistiming of the plays. There was maybe a preemptive. Oh, this Kog'Maw, I think I can ult him. Let's ult him now. It wasn't, there wasn't a lot of fluidity with the plays, and I wouldn't say cost them the game because the game was looking pretty tough, but there was a way to like either come back, maybe stall, make a secret Echo. Echo has stolen 2 dragons. He could have potentially stolen of the Elder.
Yeah.
At that
I'm
point, like,
I'm sorry to cut you off there, but we do have to go to break. We can talk more about game 1 going into game 2 right after
thank
this
you,
break.
thank you. Sorry, and yeah, we also okay. Look at good chocolate.
No, Richard, we need to talk. we need to talk.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Okay. If we're splitting what happens,
No.
fight breaks out, you need to, just let me take the fight, right?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm telling
Yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is you not say as many ums in the middle of what you're saying. So what we will do for the next game is we will split. I will do general coverage, you will do fights. But you need to not say names, and you need to talk a little bit faster.
Okay. The arms is mostly because I was thinking at the time for that. And I was trying not to cough.
That's just need the fun.
So, yeah, sorry about that.
we are back and we're hoping to go into game two. What are you hoping that GCG does in game two?
Ban the Cogma? I mean,
the Kog'Maw wasn't what lost them the game. It's what closed the game out, but it wasn't what lost them the game. We did see them have Legion overall as opposed to the game in the semifinals, and they actually gave up objective control after they took the first line attack, because they know what to do after the first line of towers came down.
True. I mean, but this is what I mean. They seem to not have a late game plan, because they have early game jungle. The Ashe ult, the Leon ult, like I said, the top lane being set after the monster allowed. There was a lot of early game leads, a lot of capitalizing on early game mistakes. But as the game progressed later and later, their winning plays stopped, they stopped doing the winning plays. They stopped humbling the Ashe ult, the loud ult, the Leon ult. They stopped pressuring top. I believe I said top lane how it
actually didn't take it took almost no damage again.
Malawi got destroyed. Why was so much for the fucking power, This is what I think in the power. I mean, I joke of course, but they need to not give the Saints the big because it seems that while they don't give up a gold lead,
we hands up. We see on the side of the Saints, they're banning Aurelia, Udyr, Aatrox, Elise, and Taric. And I'm not sure the Aurelia has been picked before, the Udyr has been picked before. Actually, so has the Aatrox. So there's 3 bans based on previous games, but the other 2 bans are new.
No. And from GCG, they banned the Akali, the Ari, the Akshan, the Zed, and the Victor. Another 3 for the mid lane, I believe, but the Akali and the Akshan seem to be relatively new bans. I wonder where those are coming from.
They did ban those in the first game on the semis. It seems like they like thing on people with their bans just a little bit. So we were expecting something from them. If they're gonna use bans to just ban 3 champions whose names start with A, we're expecting something good from them this game.
Hopefully they can back up the smack. This is smack. So
no, it's definitely smack. They're throwing down the gauntlet. They're saying Saints, we're gonna beat you
without bans.
3 bans down. Yeah.
So if they can somehow do this, I'd love to see it. But,
yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, at least Taric. I don't believe the jungler has played Elise.
He has not. There has been no. If he was going to pick Elise this game, it would be the first time he's played Elise in a tournament. We do see champion picks come out, and I actually like the draft from the Saints this time around. I'm looking at it straight up, and I like the draft. They've got enough CC to protect their backline. They've got more of a supporty ADC, and their mid lane is where the damage is coming from. They've got a black shield to make sure that the damage threat can't be stopped by Pantheon, can't be feared by Nocturne.
They have a proverbial wall in the front line, Malphite and Sejuani. And it's going to be quite difficult for Team GCG. I mean, they have a Nocturne with Shen combo and Pantheon combo, but that's difficult to execute versus Sejuani, Ashe, Malphite, Morgana. I mean, Corki has his own built-in peel also. It's not as if, he has to completely rely on his team. So even if he is by himself, he has the potential to outplay. Team comp-wise, from, as you said, you described the comp of the Saints perfectly. Protect the backline, Corki damage, win team fights.
Yeah, and on the other side, Gold Coast is going for this really, really difficult combo to pull off. It is a lot of pressing R. It's Nocturne and Shen pressing R, Pantheon pressing R, and you're hoping to blow up the backline. The problem is you've drafted an AD carry that can't follow that. If they had put a Kai'Sa in there, it would have been a lot better. If they had even put a Caitlyn in there, it would have been a lot better. But Misfortune is going to stand really far back, press her ult, and isn't going to be able to reach beyond the Sejuani and the Malphite.
True. I also the Zillion. I'm wondering what the Zillion is there for. If you have 3 divers, who's the Zillion else in the map? I mean, I
True.
feel it's a support pick that doesn't flow with the team comp. You know, they have I'd have preferred someone more aggressive.
The Zillion, I
Um,
think, is a comfort pick for Gold Coast Gaming because
it's
we
a
have
pick.
seen
Oh,
them
okay,
pull up the Zillion when everything else goes out the window. They pick
okay,
Zillion. It's comfort for them.
okay, okay. Um, we'll see how it goes then. Let's get into game. We'll see if they can pull off the comfort picks.
And we're into game. We're into game. We have red side, GCG has red side, blue side is the same, and we're hoping to see GC put up a good fight this time. Like, if they get a gold lead, we want to see them use that gold lead. They can't just give it up for free, they
30
can't give up
seconds
objectives
until
for
minions
free, they can't
spawn.
give up free kills also.
I
Flee like the
completely agree.
cowards you are.
It's
Don't worry,
okay.
Priscilla. I'll leave you
Okay.
scraps.
I like the video
He comes out
PM.
and does a little taunt, yeah.
I was wondering if there's going to be some secret engage, and no, it's just a cheeky exchange of BM. Maybe they're answering the triple random bans, or maybe it's just they're confident
Minions
after their
have
last
spawned.
win that the game is going to be an easy one. We shall see.
Yeah. You know what we haven't seen this whole time is any team go for an invade. And an invade would actually work really well with the team comp that GCG has drafted. You know, if you invade on the bottom side, it's two in one tank. You ignore the tank and you kill the Squid. Actually kill the
Hmm.
Sejuani because the bonus damage that comes in from your Pantheon, from your Misfortune, from your Nocturne. They all have a way of dealing bonus damage.
True. And as we all know, tanks are very balanced. So it's good to be good. And another thing to say is the sticking power of this team. If they get on if they get on misfortune, a Sejuani or Mappa, it's going to be very difficult for the Sejuani to escape. Even with the Zillion, because the Zillion can't speed or slow down the enemy. But we have people with slow stuns. It's going to be quite difficult for the Sejuani to get away from the enemy team if the MS to get away from the enemy team if she gets pinged even once by the members of Team Sync.
And you see trades happening across the board in every single lane. Pantheon going in, Corki at blue taking away half his HP, but Corki's going to heal that out with potion. Pantheon already lost most of his potions. He's taking down his last one. Shen taking out 80% of Malphite's health top lane. And GCG looks like they're trying to command this game. The general pathing for Nocturne is to be able to get off. Oh, Trump comes in top lane. That might be a dead Malphite. And it's a flash. Flash
Early?
comes out.
Oh, flash early. That's it's quite an early flash. I think that's 2 waves, but Sejuani seems to be ganking top, so I wonder if they managed to send it around.
She's
That is a
walking
2
up. She
wave.
gets the Q down. W misses. She
She
has
doesn't
the
have
flash.
stability. Stun.
Yes, the
He
flash.
flashes, and he gets flash follow. It's just a kill. It's a kill
It's
and
first
nothing to
blood.
nothing in time.
It's first blood from Malphite. Shen was doing so well, so well. He didn't respect the
Respect.
Sejuani player. Like, she is a tank, but she can go red buff, blue buff, Grom, and hit you before the 3-minute mark, which is exactly what
And
she
that's
did.
what she did.
Porky has Pantheon down to almost 10 HP and not to up on his red. I was saying this, Nocturne doesn't actually want to play it in this matchup, right? He will lose in the 2v2, but you want to actually put some threat out. Because if Sejuani just gets to do what she wants in the early game, she will gain a bunch of health and you become useless to the jungle. This is one matchup where you can't sit back passively and farm.
And okay, fine landing on Zillion. Oh, Zillion flash is
Flash
done.
comes out.
I don't think the flash was needed there, but
Mhm.
being safe. The Ash was following up. Maybe they were worried about the flash follow up if he tries to
There's such a thing as too safe. That flash came
It
out
was a
really
bit
early. There's such
unnecessary,
a thing
yeah.
as too safe.
Because I mean, Sejuani is bot side, and this is grounds for follow-up play. I mean, Lillian with no flash, easy pickings, especially the Morgana bind on the team.
You see Nocturne coming down though.
Coming
He gets
through
pinged
support.
out by somebody on ward. Shen trading back into Malphite on the top lane. He's walking down, getting
This is a long
goes
way.
in. Malphite is back
Slapping
with
him
his
back.
W. Yeah?
On the battle of the tanks, and they're both at half HP.
Yeah, but these tanks are doing some serious damage to each other. Shen opts for the draft to be down, which is he goes in again.
Malphite with comment, and I believe this should be a kill for the Shen. Malphite has no flash. Can he somehow? Oh, and the Shen, and the blind line is blocked. They turn it around on the Ash. Beautiful, but the Sejuani is coming. The Lillian has no mana and no stuff.
Interestingly, Sejuani.
And he misses the dash.
Oh no, that she has to be feeling bad about that dash. She could have used all her skills into the Zillion who didn't have a flash. So this isn't making them need some work. You see Palpatine coming down to the river. He just drops the water, walking back. Shen fights him off at again top lane.
In the middle of the minion, he just came back, and he's almost there again.
We are especially
and
take too long down. Corki looks to have a solid control of the mid lane. I mean, he has a wave pseudo frozen from his tower. It's pushed, but he used that wave to get a really good trade into the Pantheon.
Just putting the ward down. I mean, I believe the Pantheon went bot to put the pin to him. Yes. Considering that his bot lane is just blue flash, he might be going for maybe a counter gank because his ult in hit 6. But with the amount of pressure that he's getting on mid lane, I don't believe he may have a chance to do that. I mean, as we can see, Shen is hit 6, Pantheon is almost 6, and Nocturne is almost 6. With the way this goes, we could start seeing some wombo combos happen bot side fairly soon.
Oh, Corki is in a dangerous space. He is in the corner, but his team is going to back him off. We see this 3 versus 2. The Pantheon actually doesn't leave his lane. He stays in the lane.
Yeah. Probably try to catch up, maybe hit 6 so he can join this fight easily. But he does give up the scuttle for the thing. With the bot lane coming up to help. Shen has 6 already and Malphite doesn't. Malphite just takes 6 up that fine. But as we're starting to see, we've reached the point where the globals are active and the Saints have to be a bit more careful in how they play, because a single step forward into a Nocturne ult and a Pantheon ult, and it could have a bad fight or a bad pick.
You do have to give it up to Wong Tang because he has been dominating this top lane matchup. No matter what picks are in the top lane, he has been dominating. He is a pressure release for GCG in game 1 and also now in game 2.
Yeah, and we could say the same for the Star of Morning in mid lane. He is absolutely crushing the Pantheon mid. I would somewhat to be expected Corki versus Pantheon matchup. Pantheon doesn't really have a way to pressure the Corki past level 5, but this domination with this is more than expected. I'm guessing.
This is game 2, right? But we've seen no one move towards the dragon. Like GCG usually is going for this early objective take, but Nocturne comes to the river, loses the scuttle fight, and just around the dragon. He is walking down now. Sejuani's on the other side, using the Scryer's token, the wind or token to her. She's just doing the blue buff and her drop. There's a little teams are moving a little bit slower towards objective this game. Yeah. Nocturne hits level 6. And he hit that off a control ward, so the Saint should know that he's level 6 and should be playing accordingly.
We're thinking that by now. It seems the Corki is. Wow, he probably has. He seems to have the man in me. I just don't know what to say. There's no pressure coming from. He's from what? 9 minutes, no ganks. We have a Nocturne with ult, a Pantheon with ult, a Shen with ult. You don't draft this sort of team comp and let the enemy scale. It's
Yep.
almost the same problem we saw with the Kog'Maw, where they picked Kog'Maw bot and there was almost no gank for the first 7-8 minutes. Things are repeating again.
Yeah, GCG is taking very slow into a coffee who will scale into one-shotting the team, and the tanks who will gain a lot of HP over time. And they don't have the same scaling side. They can't afford to do the same time, which they gain the same 9 minute time for free. I mean, a minute 30 of that you don't really interact, but we didn't want them to invade. But they give them 8 minutes after that for free.
Yeah. And as we can see the pain in the mid lane, and they're giving up the early trade also. But they are trading it for the Herald, and considering that they do have a strong top side with the Shen versus the Malphite, it seems to be the better trade.
It is the better choice.
Yeah. I believe they definitely need a gank in the mid lane to give the Pantheon some form of freedom, maybe ult to roam, because he's getting perma-shoved in and getting poked down. It's wow, that was close. A Pantheon at that health can't really ult anybody.
And he almost succeeded because Corruption Potion was ticking at his HP. I think he had 5 HP left before the burst. Shen goes in and Malphite gets landed on, picks up his Shroud.
And Malphite runs away, down slamming. I mean, Shen has been dominating the top lane matchup. But as we all know, when it comes to team fights, Malphite has one job. I don't think whether he's ahead or behind too much really affects the Malphite ult.
So once he hits level 6, he has his game plan is done.
And the Nocturne all Pantheon all combo in the mid, we finally see it. He gets slowed, he gets stunned, he gets scared. And that's what we're talking about. They needed to do this play. And I believe the Corki stayed a bit too long for one extra wave, and he should punish. Yeah.
But we don't need to punish. We want to see them be proactive. We want to see them pushing into the enemy jungle wards they know where Sejuani is, and they can pull off their combo without having to worry about where the enemy jungle is. Because that combo, as you see, is very, very quickly. It took 4 seconds or less to kill that Corki. Press R, you press R, Corki dies.
And you can tower dive him with that. You have a semi-tanky champion with the Pantheon and the Nocturne, and Corki is not a champion that primarily deals resist or any sort of, health or tanky. If Sejuani is not ganking on the top side of the map, on the bottom side of the map, you unleash that play. I don't think the Corki stays even under his second tower. So
he's not. He is not. I mean, they still have the Herald. They haven't dropped the Herald down yet. And they pull up a play on that mid lane, and you want to see them use the Herald there. Because if you accelerate, he's one-shotting one-shotting Ashe, he's one-shotting Corki.
It'd be a huge threat to let that Pantheon into your backline, and it would be quite difficult to get him to not get into your backline when he has ult. And if anything comes, too bad, he has Shen ult to back him up. He has a Zillion ult to back him up. So I'm wondering why they have not putting a lot more pressure on mid lane when they know that the Pantheon has the opportunity to carry. You don't really need to get top. In team fights, Shen is going to get the ult and do what he does. You don't really need a head shot. Like, Shen being ahead doesn't change what he does.
I mean, Shen is like a pseudo Ornn. He is a ninja. He's a tank and a ninja, two things you usually don't see come together. You see him go in, and every time he's stacking up, every time he's grass, he is stacking up now. Come 20 minutes into the game, he's doing almost a bonus of like 160 damage on his autos, and those so much. If he gets them as an also, he now becomes a threat just because of how much you can do.
But that still is my point. You can just leave top alone, put a pink ward. I mean, I don't believe Sejuani ganking top is necessarily against. Oh, and we see a flash and an ult from the Sejuani trying to get the MF. The MF dodges, but nothing comes of it. She blows both sums, but with Zillion ult, I don't think that was exactly necessary. But a repeat gank could happen in bot lane. But I mean, Nocturne did not ult mid during that time.
Yeah, the pick on both sides has been a bit lackluster. We are seeing alts come out at weird angles. When you pick Ash and you ult, you want to ult with a line that hits the most of the person, at least covers their hit. You pick Shen in the Malphite, again, this fading pattern, but then repeating itself. And Shen comes out ahead. He is healing off this grass of being dying person. He's coming out ahead every single time.
And as you said earlier, when Sejuani goes bot or goes top, we need the Pantheon, the Nocturne, and the Shen to ultimate. Pantheon was walking towards bot to maybe facilitate the play. That was quite fine. But Corki was walking up in mid power to auto attack it. Where was the pressure for him there? If you have 3 bots and you have 3 mid, you need to put pressure where it's necessary. I mean, the gold graph is even, so despite all of this, no team has a definitive advantage yet. But as we remember from game 1, when you have a scaling comp, not having a definitive advantage really leads to a slow loss. Pound for pound, each gold is not the equivalent on each player. One more gold on the court means more than one more gold on the and the Corki all. Oh, sorry about that. If you Corki all top, he gets the kill on the Shen. The Shen is trying to stop the Malphite from backing. But this Shen is 2-kill bot for Team GCG. They managed to kill the Shen bot lane. They get the win, and it's just funny for the Corki going down.
I mean, them taking this Drake dust or Drake stacking from the stick, what could before was actually prioritized Dragon. Like, their entire game plan revolves around still being ever being defined as the carry for the game. So, I mean, you see about Drake saying, he is a level up, but he's losing to, and we talked about it. Pantheon getting ahead one shot. If he's equal levels to Corki here, he might have been able to kill the Corki just with bonus stat. We talked about this. Him being
great flash
pick up side also.
And the Corki gets the kill. With the W in and the ult.
Pantheon being very, very greedy there. Everything to just walk away and leave the minion. He gives a kill over.
And the Corki is slowly scaling. He picked up a kill top on the Shen, he picked up a kill mid on the Pantheon, and the mid tower looks weak. MF walks, the Misfortune walks up, gets double bump and dies. The Corki and the Ash ult on the Zillion, the Corki building, and absolutely destroys the Zillion, the MF ult, but nothing comes of it. And we see 2 junglers meeting in the middle of the lane and handshaking a walk away.
I feel like Zillion was not expecting to come up that quickly by a Corki because he dies with Chrono Shift. His R button is there available and he just dies because he's not expecting it that way. His Corki is very, very fair and very, very farm at the moment.
He could have preemptively ulted before the Ash ult, but he did not respect the blow-up damage and he gets blown up. We're starting to see Corki reach that point in the game where those rockets will be doing a lot of damage, and
we see him in the tribush here. He's just waiting. He ults. He could have been there and showed up white picking up, but he pull a trigger there.
And mid lane, there's a lot of walking around. Pantheon knows he can kill the Corki, but the Corki tries to kite back and use his ults. He does have to respect the Shen ult and the Nocturne ult, so he definitely cannot be going in on the Pantheon or using his W quite risky. But as long as it keeps a safe distance and uses his bombs, I mean, I believe it's reached the point where it could take a bit more than a Nocturne ult and a Pantheon ult to 100 to 0 the Corki if his teammates are around or if he has some.
Yeah, and we don't like the fact is recalling without pressing his R button. That's a very short cooldown as far as ultimates go from. He's not using it. We are watching bot lane dominance of Misfortune that we used to expect in bot lane. Morgana hides in the bush, but she misses the Q. She presses W before she presses Q, which is a thing. It kind of wastes the cooldown, but
I mean, she might have been trying to, how do I say, disturb the MF's short passer to give her a better chance of landing the Q. She misses another Q there. But MF just seems to be walking around moving down the Qs the whole game.
I want to agree with she is pressing that Q button off cooldown. She even, it doesn't look like she's off cooldown. She's pressing that
And
E
we see
button.
her press the Q again. Oh, you're quite right. Oh, and safe. I guess that was a safe team for take.
But she's starting off the Rift Herald. I mean, we aren't seeing GCG respond to this.
Yeah, they have. I mean, it seems to be a 3v3. I mean, their Pantheon and Nocturne can't get into the fight at any point in time. They are walking around it. So I think the industry is fight, Nocturne off, Pantheon off, then off. Oh, and they're going for the force. But they're one more cop in the last fight over and they're going off. All of them in the back, letting Corki get away. And
no one got the Herald. No one got. It got smited to 11 HP and no one auto attacked the Herald to kill it and pick up the eye. So Baron spawned, negating the Herald pick.
Oh, but I mean, I would say it was a good win for the Saints. That was close. That was what we were talking about early on. If that had happened earlier, it's very possible Corki would have died then. But it goes late, Corki gets some levels, gets some health, and the Wombo combo saves him and gives him enough time to completely turn around and destroy the members of the
I mean, if I was a betting man, taking this game.
If I was not a betting man, I'm pretty sure it's taking this game.
We're seeing Nocturne doesn't have enough damage to kill Corki in one shot. I don't think doesn't have no Corki. Both of them could try and jump on Corki, but they're gonna get negated by Sejuani and pressing them bucket.
The come from the Saints is and Corki gets Herald, I believe, because it's a contest race with this Herald. There's a lot of flood of war, but and Pantheon steps out of line, he gets Corki package. He does have a hex thinker, it's popping, he's trying to see if he can live, but Corki kills him. He has no counter pick that they drop the Herald and bot also. Wait,
the Herald pick up the Herald. It didn't show up on the map, so I thought Baron spawn cancelled it, but they picked up the Herald. They used to get about 90% of tier 1 power and bot lane's health, and they just go straight for the dragon. And GCG is not contesting this. You see most teammates don't even do it. It's a free crowd.
If you get a kill on the Pantheon, it would have been a 45, but I believe, Mapai does not give up the top tower. He keeps back to save the top tower, which I believe is a clever play. Instead of keeping for the Drake, he's giving up the top tower. He walks there, keeps top. But they try to punish Nocturne and get him blue buff, but he seems to be getting collapsed on.
He didn't know, but now he definitely does know. Turns around and Corki uses EW, he's going in. Mapai comes up, the big shield coming from him. Corki jumps away. Shen lands the taunt. I think that's a dead Corki.
That is a dead Corki.
That is dead Corki. Nocturne also comes out, going back in on the Malphite. And Malphite should walk into tower, but he doesn't. Like, and fight going on bobbling also, you know how has been used to keep you down.
Using off himself, but the Sejuani off goes on the left. He managed to turn around and kill the ass, and he gets killed also. So I think it's a 1-for-1. But I believe that was more sums blown on the side of GCG. So you have both sums from Brilliant, both sums from MF, but it does turn out to be a 1-for-1.
The cross map, it is a 2-for-1 because Corki does die to the Shen Nocturne, the Shen Nocturne switcheroo. Corki goes in on the Nocturne, think he's gonna kill him. Shen is like, haha, you've activated my trap card. Comes in and kills the Corki. And on the bot side, we see an engage that goes wrong for the Saint. So GCG is trying to keep it in. They're 4K gold lead. They're 4K behind, but they are trying to keep it in the game.
Yeah, and that was a good play by the MF, managed to turn it around on the Ashe. Ashe steps up and doesn't respect the damage and gets womboed by the MF. But it seems that, okay, Corki is going bot. I believe they've reached the point in the game where the Corki is just trying to free farm and scale. The ADCs are going mid, and at this point, this is pretty much where most teams decide, you know what, we're scaling, we're just going to sit back and wait for Drakes. No need to make any proactive plays. I wonder if that's what's going to come out from the Saint here. We're going to need a lot of ults and a lot of Nocturne ults towards bot lane, because you cannot let Corki sit in the lane for free and take those.
This is where the script should flip. Because the Saints have been accelerating. They should want to take it easy, chill, scale up. But they've been accelerated so much that they still have a 3K builder. And we see the trading and top lane still going the same as it was going before. We actually want to see the Saints be proactive. We don't want Malphite in the top lane fighting the Shen. We want him roaming around through vision.
I mean, they're bullying
while denying vision.
They just walk in the jungle, take the big off.
Yes, we want that with a Malphite. Malphite engages from very far away, and you get at least 1-2 kills, you get a tower. Every kill now the Saints get should be converted into a tower. Even if it's not a kill, any pressure they exert should be converted into a tower.
That is true, but it would be very difficult without a Malphite. I mean, if you engage for a kill, there's a point where you push too far, and there's a Nocturne all comes out, on the Ash,
straight onto the
Ash in tower. She turns around and she does also Nocturne, and the Pantheon all comes in to support, but nothing comes up. I mean, they do get the Ash Flash for Nocturne and Pantheon also, so they can always rinse and repeat that. But yeah, I mean, things like this needs to happen. More proactive play from GCG.
So they are being proactive now, but they need to tap the quirky rockets coming out doing so much damage. They can't stack up like that. One quirky missile there doing 200, 300 damage, and that wasn't even a big one. But going back to the proactive plays, they are being proactive now, but they need to time it better. Pantheon ults can't be coming in a full 6 seconds after Nocturne has already ulted. It needs to be back to back or at the same time.
There seems to be some pressure building up in the top lane though. I don't know what they're going for. Maybe it's something to look like.
All comes down to Rani. All comes down to doing also Misfortune laying an ult down. People Malphite countering that ult going up. The 1v1 between the junglers, but Sejuani has one else. She kills him with smite.
The Nocturne gets kited, and the Malphite gets kited, and he gets killed. The Jillian Million is barely left to see when he's then jumping in, and it's still the Ash. And the Morgana Clash also gets killed, and the Nocturne, the Shen is untouched.
Meanwhile,
but
the bot lane,
big one the Pantheon, and he gets the second tower.
So I don't agree with the Saints fighting there. Most of their gold, most of their experience, most of their lead is in the quirky who split pushing. You don't want to fight without your lead, because what happens is what you just saw. They get 4-1 on the top side of the... they get clean...
The 4-1, he does die at the end.
Yeah. But if it's not a loss you want, you are heading forward, you want to leverage that.
But the Malphite flash is going. Can he kill the MF flash to turn around and she does die, he gets a shutdown. But, and she does not get the tower. So I believe
Drake has spawned now. The Saints should be turning their eyes straight to Drake, but we see Corki recalling on the map. All their members are scattered. GCG actually has...
That is recalling though, but he does not have ult, but yeah. I wonder if Shen is going to TP or run straight to Drake. He seems to be running to that. I believe that'd be too late. They're going to force the time to walk up.
Corki Muscle doing so much damage. This leaving Ash in the top lane, and GCG is just giving up his Drake. That's so points for the Saints.
Yeah, and the Shen elects not to TP, so it's a 3v5 and it's a free win. Especially with
what I would like to see there? What I would like to see there,
or 4v4, if the Shen had elected TP, and Baron seems to be the next point on the map. They're trying out vision, checking around, and what team do you think is going to start the Baron?
Which is going? I'm hoping the Saints started as a because they need to stay faithful to protect that Corki from the pressing R's of GCG. I am liking the fact that they moved.
Corki is going in on mid MF flashes. He gets 100 to 0 and
almost Nocturne traces the Corki over the wall for the rest of the Saints. But remember, Corki is going to kind of do Nocturne Malphite all comes out, knocks people down, Shen all comes in, gets the counter on the Morgana, not the Axe, getting out on the Nocturne, reviving one Zonya. I mean, it's a very, very messy fight. We're trying to look for some clarity here. Nocturne is chasing down the Ash. They get the Sierra, turns around, runs straight on Malphite, who just kills him. Malphite with a double kill. Let's see Shen fighting Sejuani. Sejuani going for the kill. Malphite walking in from the side. He gets a triple kill, and now they're chasing down the Shen. But they should be careful. Shen can't turn around and kill the insect. That's what he do. He spreads. Yeah, that's just the Malphite. Malphite is dead. Shen won back. And now he won Ash versus Shen.
19 damage, you won auto attack.
So Ash on Shobo toss. Yeah, Shen is gonna kill everybody. It's a battle of the tanks. Yeah, the laners coming out ahead in the fights, both of them getting majority kills. But now we want to see Shen use the map pressure, not for this red buff, but for that bot lane tower, which is gold that he can get quite easily. Tower is 2 hits from dying. I don't agree with the red buff take here, especially not Ben walking towards the bot lane.
But on the side of the gold hasn't shifted much from that play. I think what I want to see here is the Gen go bot. You have an explosive inhibitor, you don't want to give the Saints any opportunity to get that because Baron is on the map and both teams are looking at it. And with an explosive inhibitor in bot lane, you want your CP and your Gen ult to sit in bot lane, fully farm, and have some type of. I mean, you have actually 7 globals on the map, or at least like a fight going on, but no, Sejuani just face tanks all the damage and
he loses 1%.
He just walks into 3 people and just walks out and perfectly fine. But yeah, Baron seems to be the play, and there's a huge wave building up bot. This is where I like Shen to go and, you know, catch the wave. So you can always make it. Yeah, you're pinging it, depending on the map, that the inhibitors might fall. Then what recall, you can't do recall. And it's the same start bad. This is a perfect time to start bad. The Nocturne, the worst person to go bot went bot, the Nocturne went to serve the wave, and he gets.
Oh my god! Ash Arrow coming out, Scorching ultimate. That should be 2 kills of Pantheon going in, and the Fortune gets back shielded. Pantheon, 50% of his team, 1 big one. Scorching still running away from the 2 tanks. She takes another big one. It's a triple kill for Corky. Nocturne all comes out. He runs away, Nocturne goes in. That can't be the right play because now Nocturne is dead. It's a 5-0 with Baron. The Saints should end the game here. You see Corky calling.
Yeah, Corky's speaking to the bot lane English.
Shen is trying to stop him, but no, Shen can't.
And it looks like the Shen can stop him.
Ronnie's coming over. Well, but they should just 2 inhibitors recall. They still have enough Baron to go up lane and end the game. They can ignore. No, they're just going straight for the end. I mean, they have 18 seconds on Nocturne. And the sports teams all the field. 2 inhibitors. Like I said, this would be the perfect place to recall, go straight up. Yeah, that is the correct decision. You recall here, you still have over.
Oh, Malphite gets hit. Malphite gets hit. Malphite gets Morgana, and it looks like the chasing and no Pantheon
comes out. He's going to 4 people. That is. That is the mission. It's you, Pantheon, you my friend there, where 100 there was no battle to be had there.
He goes in at I believe he thought there was a fight or a pick when there wasn't one. Probably thinking they're going to a Baron, they haven't bossed yet, but that was not the fight. They get the Cloud Soul. Cloud Soul is quite nice with Morgana ult and Morgana Malphite ult. But
I do
running back in.
I got them with them running back in. Yes,
Ash ult? Yeah. Ash ult, really? He gets the Zulian, can he get blown up? He managed to ult in time. But the big goal, Malphite ult with the left, the 10 ult, but he dies so quickly, Zulian revives and dies to a big one. And they have an open nexus. I think that's it.
He's walking into face. So, I have my word 2 different times in this game. Because what I think is the best play is apparently not how you win the game, because they stay around with no mana on the Morgana, health of Sejuani, but they get the picks and they close out the game. That's
that was a
2 for the Saints.
I believe both games ended off an Ash ult, yes?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Ash is the pivotal. And I mean, last game Ash was on the other side, but she is the
Yeah,
pivotal pick.
yeah.
Her ulting is what ends the game.
So yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, it was a good call on the Ash there. She gets the ult on the Zillion, and I I I don't understand because we have a team with globals, and the bot lane gets collapsed on the mid lane, and there was no follow up. There was a Shen ult late, but there was no Pantheon. Oh well, okay, we know why there was no Pantheon ult. But there was no Nocturne ult. There was no follow up. There was no support. And I mean, on the other side, as you said, I don't believe that's a play that should work because you're in the middle of your base farming. You don't really expect a 5-man to just run up into the middle of your base for free like that. So I can understand why the MF would feel comfortable to like farm there, but the 1 in a million play did, it worked out this time.
It ended up working out. Yeah.
So,
So now we have the Saints up 2-0. Are you expecting a reverse sweep? Because going into this, GCG was favored. I mean, they took out the first seed, people who have beaten the Saints. But now they're 2 games down. It's possible for a reverse sweep to happen.
It certainly is possible. What I would like to see is some type of. I don't think you can ban every single scaling champ, but what I'd like to see is more of a tight knit comp. Yes, because they have proven that their weakness is scaling comps. We had the Kog'Maw, we've had the Corki, both mid ADC, whichever role. Scaling does seem to be their weakness. I would like to see more of what they did versus Citizens, where they have a tight knit group, where if any little mistake, they can pressure. You don't let, because if you have a scaling comp and that just sits back, if you have a tight knit group, you can just scale around, take up every objective, and a single Baron can end the game. It doesn't matter how afraid your comp is or Corki is. But let's see.
Yeah. No, we hope that, and we are gonna go to a break right. But when we come back for Game 3, look of Gamers PC Masters powered by Contender. Hope to see GC put up good fight. We're looking for a Game 5 here. It's not Worlds, but we
are hoping for a Game 5. Yeah. back.
Well,
We're back.
welcome back. Yeah, it's a Republican Gamers PC Masters Power by Contender. We're going into game 3 of the Saints versus GCG. The Saints having an opportunity here to close out the finals, come out with winner, win that prize pool money. GCG having an uphill battle in front of them, trying to do that reverse sweep.
And as we discussed, we have a lot of, how do I say, things and improvements we'd like to see. And from the pick and ban, okay, I did say you can't ban every scaling pick, but it looks like they are trying. They are trying to ban every scaling pick. We have the Koki Lulu ban, the Kog'Maw Lulu ban, we have the Koki ban, the Diego ban, and the Misfortune ban from GCG.
They essentially saying, look, we don't want to deal with any of the champions that have done things that weren't nice to us. Show
Yeah.
us what you have, the Saints. And the Saints on their bans have stayed fairly similar. Diana,
Yeah.
I mean Echo we saw in game 1, I believe, which is actually really good, killing Kog'Maw on the tower quite a couple of times. And I mean he didn't invade with the Echo, which you'd expect, but he had a good showing of that. Darius in the top lane, Arena in the top lane, mirroring actually the first 3 bans mirror game 1 bans.
True. 2 top lane targets and a jungle target. They do have the Echo and the Diana. I'm guessing they do not want the Echo the Echo Drake steals anymore. But
yes,
yeah.
those definitely stayed in people's memory.
And we have the team comps. You cannot ban every single scaling pick, and we have Gangplank Kai'Sa with Sejuani Malzahar. It seems like a blend of the first 2 comps. So you have the Sejuani Malzahar, but you also have the Gangplank Kai'Sa. So you have the scaling also mixed with the. We have the scaling also mixed with the CC. A good blend of the 2 team comps, and on the other side on GCG, we have.
It's not the worst thing in the world having a player in the mid lane who likes to play AD champs in the mid lane.
Yes.
I give it to the draft of GCG except for that Garen. You have Jackson in the top lane, really good scaling. Tristan in the bot lane, really good scaling. The problem is your mid laner and your jungler have to be something that can control the early game for you. Now Zac can do that. I mean, once he hits level 7, he's got 3 points in his E, plus a point in his ultimate, extra point in another ability. He will be a legitimate threat. So no, 4 points in his E. He will be a legitimate threat from way out of anybody's vision. You use that, you snowball the early game. But Garen kind of breaks apart their team comp because now they have no mid laner who's roaming to get easy kills or provide CC, feed the Tristana, feed the Jax.
True.
Unlike their draft, but their mid lane has become a weak point right now.
True. I mean, on the other side, also, sorry for that, we have a typo. I believe it is the start of morning in top lane. We have not XQC Magic. He's actually the ADC. But yes, as you were saying, with the combo in mid, I believe if they what they have in mind, and if they can't pull it off, is if they can get the Zac to land on the Malzahar, a flash Q from Garen, flash Q or from Garen can 100 to 0 the Malzahar in mid lane. If they can somehow manage to pull that off, it's going to be quite difficult because Malzahar range champion, he should never be in range for Garen. But if they can somehow get the Malzahar passive off, we could see that happen. But let's get in game and let's see how it goes. Any bets?
Saints 3-0.
Saints 3-0. They seem to. And we're in game.
Alright, we're in game. There's 4 people walking into the bot lane. Are we going to see the first invade? Nope, Mazo. Nope, yeah, he's
first
We might
invade.
see the first invade of the
Okay.
tournament.
Sejuani
I'm excited.
Zyra.
I'm excited for this.
Yeah, Sejuani Zyra, I
30
believe
seconds until
that's the combo
minions
they're gonna go
spawn.
for. Leona is there. Can they get the Leona?
Oh, but Gangplank is walking first. Sarah might miss her
They
E at
hit her
this
and
range.
she
Flash
flashes.
comes out, but the
Okay.
20 gold. You know,
Yeah.
I like that. This is what I wanted to see from teams the whole time. You invade with a team comp that can invade and get some kind of advantage. Now there's a flashless Leona in the bot lane. That is a point of pressure the jungler can push. He can push and push and push. Slow
Minions
down
have
that Tristana
spawned.
scaling plan. Get Kai'Sa moving a lot faster.
Yeah. And I would have loved to see the moment they noticed that there was an invade, maybe some wards in the top side jungle, but I believe the Gangplank is walking the long way around, probably wary that maybe the enemy team is trying to set up a bait, but he will walk into Jax, depending on whether the Jax stays there or not. I'd like to see him walk the long way around, maybe just to be extra safe, but
Garen coming in on
yeah.
Malzahar, proccing that true damage on E. Stun
Oh,
comes out
and
from
he just
Jax.
walked into Jax. And there seems to be an early fight. Scorpion Potion is popped. Conqueror just got activated. And yeah, he trades for the grasp and excuse me. And another stun, another stun. Can we see can we
Is
see
this
a
gonna
kill
be
here?
a
A
first
flash?
blood? No first
No,
blood.
no flash either. But
Gangplank
yeah,
being really greedy with the flash, it pays off though. I mean, Gangplank does have the range advantage of Jax. We do see that happen now with the bullying.
oh he
Early
flashes out. Oh,
flash
he
followed, but
misses
the
the
stun
stun.
does not connect. We go down to bot lane when there's a little bit of training. We go back to the top lane.
And the Garen is the Garen is pressuring the Malzahar. He is half HP though, but I believe top lane is going to be the lane of interest here.
Level 2 comes out, Jax jumps in with the stun, but he has no
Oh,
W. He goes for,
there's no flash
I
on
mean, both
Gangplank. There's no
people don't
flash on
have
Gangplank.
flash.
Oh, he jumps
Okay?
away.
He leaf strikes away. Yeah. He uses leaf strikes, gets away. The first time we saw the Malzahar Garen
He's
matchup in the
sneaking.
mid lane, it was actually Garen favored, but we see
Look.
now
He's sneaking. He's sneaking top. Look.
oh, word comes out.
He kills the Gangplank. Oh, plates, bone plating, and the minion.
First blood goes to Gangplank in the top lane. You don't get happen. You don't want to see that in the game when he's a scaling champion versus another champion, and you never see him get that's 403 gold to a Gangplank. He can go back, get a call, and and blow the game away.
But he just walked away. Gangplank is recalling now. I will
walking
say
away is right there. Because Gangplank has no HP, has no mana, uses no help, so you don't want to get caught and then lose the advantage that Gangplank has got in the top lane.
I would say it is quite a bit of it takes a mental hit to barely kill somebody at that HP, and I wonder if the top lane can somehow bounce back from that, because that top lane seems to be the make it or break it lane. I mean, most of the lanes should be playing fine. The Tristana versus the Iso seems to be doing easily. Malzahar versus Garen. We saw this matchup before, and it seems to be a repeat. Just both laners shoving, and I don't think they have much kill threat until 6 for each side. So,
He comes out from the edge, jumping in, putting out his explosive charge, getting a good chunk of damage. It's straight back from Tristana though. Tristana can't walk up anymore on this thing. We see if I can also out. Conqueror is proc. Jax can't heal, but he's just running away. Leaf strikes onto a ward. Gangplank giving chase. Nobody else is in the air. We go to mid lane where there's another fight happening. Fight across the board. Jax does manage to get away. He's walking through his damage. Hopefully catch that wave.
Yeah. And as you can see, I mean, despite gold lead is about 500 gold, 500 gold, which is just the first blood lead. So all things aside, things are even. He stuns him on the tower. He managed to get the auto attack on the passive, and it's a
trade one for one. But Gangplank comes out ahead there. There's no teleport. It's 2 ways dying on the tower. I think he's gonna come back, hit level 6. Jack flying in. He misses the second strike.
And that is painful. If that lands, I believe that's a kill, or at least some thumbs blown. But all things being even, I mean, as we can see from the gold lead, other than the first blood, every lane is doing the Jax will miss maybe 2.5 waves top lane, potentially get behind in levels, but as long as he maybe doesn't go in too much on the gangplank or take too many Qs, Jack eventually does reach a point where he can 1v1 the gangplank quite easily.
Definitely, but that point is a lot further away now. Dying at one time. I was on that gank because pick was pivotal. Like you need a jungler, mid laner who could early game. If your Zac is for the same level as the bot laners, then anything is gank, you're not gonna get much prior to the pick. You see red side starting up the dragon while the fight is happening top lane.
Oh, there's the gangplank is Jack's fighting, counter pop. Gangplank hits the barrel, Jack goes in with the double. Gangplank also a bit late, no HP though. He's trying to walk back, but I would not advise that. Jack goes in with the stun, jumps on the ward, and he kills the Gangplank. He kills him.
It is a return for the top. Imagine to hit level 6 also very quickly. So not respecting the fact he could have gotten level 6 if he let crash into him and goes for an item into the Dax push is that the full level will be experience different. It's not in his favor.
Bounces right back. Well, they seem to be invade for Sejuani, but a bit preemptive. Level 4 to level 5 of the Zac. I don't know how that's going to work out. He jumps away. But I mean, she does have camps up to go farm now, so I mean, I don't think he misses out on much. And back to mid lane. Oh, the Jax might have overstayed. Gangplank can be killed. He has no summon. He flashes the Jax also. He gets tower dive, and the Q gets on the tower. And the shut down.
Back, yeah. Coming back again the top lane. And I want to say I like things has done this game. So, being in the jungle. At the beginning of the game, their jungler is invading, putting pressure on the enemy team. They're not giving G an easy game in game 3.
Gold lead, I keep bringing that back to the gold lead because we're trying to see which scaling champion which team gets the gold lead early usually ends up winning and running away with it. It's too soon to tell. The Gangplank and the Jack seems to be where the game is, turning around. But unfortunately, and the Susana jumps in on the Kai'Sa. The Leona goes in with the ult, the Kai'Sa ult, and she cleanses, she flashes also, and she manages to escape. Zyra is caught between the
Sejuani is coming in from the river, so he's also trying to 3v2.
And Susana heals. Leona is target, will she die? Oh, she does die! Despite her I believe Sejuani gets ult from that. She managed all to slashes. I thought she was just flashing, tower dive to Tristana and make it a 1-for-1, but she gets ult off the Leona kill and managed to ult to Tristana. But in the end, it's a 1-for-0, and the Saints are just slowly pushing ahead.
We're not seeing this Zac pick have much value. He's getting out jungled. He's a higher level, but he's getting out jungled by the Sejuani. He was a higher level.
Yes.
Getting out jungled by the Sejuani. The Sejuani is showing up first in lanes. She's showing up in his goal and putting pressure on it. You got to imagine his mental state is a bit weakened at them because he is jungle.
Yeah, and this is honestly the first time we've been seeing this. He's either been ahead or kept parity in the last couple of games, and now it seems that his mental has maybe taken a hit in the third game, maybe not completely reset, but would love to see him get back into form and pick up, because his pick is crucial to his team success, and would love to see that. I mean, top lane having received ganks from either side, maybe we see it now. I mean, both junglers in the top half of the map. If the lane is pushing for the gangplank, maybe we might see a dive on the Jax, but probably Jax is going to see, I doubt it. But Jax goes in on the gangplank. It's a trade in the middle of the minions. The gangplank mission is out here. Ults. The Jax in the fighting middle of the resets his barrel. The gangplank, he jumps, runs away. There's no flash on both sides. He's running to the outpost. Both have no health. There's no ward from the Jax, so he can't see.
Up a barrel.
Yeah, the Jax goes with the stun. He doesn't finish it off like Magic to kill him with his heal and a Q, but the Zac is here. Can the Gangplank outplay? No, Zac won't. And yeah, he gets a return kill. I mean, there's also an assist also, so I believe gold-wise that's good for GCG, but Jack misses another 2.5 ways top lane.
Very the fact that every time these fights are happening, whether it's a 1-for-1 or 1-for-0, Gangplank has pushed him. So he's keeping an experience lead over Jax. He's accelerating himself to that. He's less than 1.5 timer his barrels.
Once he hits level 13, it's going to be quite difficult for the Jack to make auto attackers on the barrels. As you can see in most of this fight, the Gangplank has managed to reset his barrels, and the passive on the Jack is what's doing a lot of the damage. I believe it's 100, maybe 150 true damage in the early levels, and that is nothing to sneeze at. Jax generally gets a lot of armor and magics when it ults, but true damage does go through that, and I believe are they going for the Herald? They do go for the Herald. Yeah, they get the Herald. And it seems that the Saints want to answer back by doing Dragon, but it seems a bit late. But it doesn't seem GCG wants to protect it.
GCG's moving into the river. They could on both sides. And I think so would be perfect for the team because they do have front lines moving into the back line.
But they use it later.
Seems like the Dragon down fast. Imagine how Zyra ultimate pumping out with his face.
The Mazahar does die though, and they go in on the Zyra and the Titan. Zyra has no flash, and no, Zyra does have a flash, sorry, but she heals and the Titan managed to escape. I believe we needed better target focus from both sides there. He's kind of jumping in on the Titan instead of focusing the Zyra there, but they do get a kill for the Drake. They do get the Herald, so overall objective-wise, I would say it comes out ahead for GCG, but 2 Drakes for the Saints, and the stacking has begun. I believe it's a Hex deck so.
I mean, objective, it's only even if GCG actually uses that Herald. And they have about a minute to place down that turret. You have their jungler walking into mid. He's in the bot side of jungle. He can't use his mid lane because Malzah's going to push the Garen. He's going to have so much time where the Sejuani could come over. He wants to use a bot list in currently taking. So this Herald isn't going to get. We need to get that gold lead off of this Herald. He's dropping your mid lane.
It means it's quite difficult unless the Herald does ignore the minions and go straight for the charge.
Straight for the charge.
I wouldn't say you should bank on that all the time, but it does work out this time, and yeah, it gets some real hits. Gold goes back to even actually from that place. So yeah. We can back the top lane. The Gangplank is shooting the Jack on the tower, and the range advantage, as you said, he gets the barrel, he W's the stun and the Qs.
Jax has 100 HP. Oh, there's a flash.
Oh, the all splash?
Dead.
Yeah, all splash is Q.
Meanwhile, Sejuani again fade. I'm liking the look. Granted, it doesn't work out for Zyra in this particular scenario. The proactiveness is there, and that is good. It didn't work out this time, but it has worked and given them a solid control of the game so far. I mean, Zac really hasn't left his jungle. He's made 2 appearances in lanes in 14 minutes, and one of them was just to drop the Herald. That was really it.
And the Gangplank is taking top tower at 14 minutes and 30 seconds, despite not getting the plates. And the 2 levels, you're jumping on the Kai'Sa has to cleanse. She flashes and she ults, but she dies on the tower. The Leona heals. The heal is
so 1-for-1.
He managed to play the 1-for-1, but it still comes out ahead for GCG because it's a kill on the assist and it's a kill on the support instead of the ADC. Susana's hiding in the bush, recalling. I thought she was going to go for the Zyra there, but she just takes the recall. And yeah,
she stays in the bush, drops her explosive charge, jumps in. She has a second jump if she chooses to use it. Jumps in, hits again.
And the Zyra roots All on the
That's a
tower. Oh
shutdown
my
going
god.
to the Zyra. And you know, you talked about it. Your exact words were Tristana's recalling in the bush safely. And she gave up that
I
safety and gives over a 150 goal shutdown to the Zyra.
I mean,
And you actually don't want to see that because Zyra has really good AP ratios. Her ultimate can do a third of your HP for free. It's an instant cast ability that you can't actually react to unless you
and
switch to.
and considering the fact that they have other than Zyra, only one magic damage source, and it is primarily single target. You do not want to give the HP on the enemy team more hits. Here, then, oh my, oh, this is their play on the gangplank from the Mazel mid. Oh, he times and aims the jump correctly. Mazel gets silenced, his TPO comes down to slow, Mazel runs out. Garen gets Mazel ulted, gangplank does go as long as Sejuani. They double ult, triple ult, but they do save the Mazel's life. And the Sejuani gets the kill, and yeah, they got the sum, but they took a bit more than necessary. And they get
Honestly,
punished.
this is the first time we've seen a clean counter gap come out from the Saints. And we see them go straight into bot lane trying to get another kill on Tristana. The chance
The
connects,
jump,
Tristana jumps away. He
the
misses from the
Zyra
Zyra. She drops the all. She gets stunned.
the,
Jack teleported in. And that's a trade
and
kill
you know
back
what?
onto the Zyra. They're now chasing onto Sejuani. She's running away. Kaisa all attacking some minions for some reason. Sejuani does get to walk away from this. Again, the proactivity not working out in the favor of the Saints. But I still like the fact that they're making moves, not just letting the game play
Yeah.
itself out.
And they're going for the dragon, and I believe that's the right call. You get top laner TP bot, and you can see you can clearly see that the Gangplank is still top. So that's a free Drake. You want to slow down the Drake stacking of the two states, at least by one Drake. Because Ronnie goes in, she might be going for the kill, but she's getting taken away by the Leona. I believe it's turn on her. No, they let her into the pitch. Tristana ults. Can she steal? Oh, and
And
the
it's
Kai'Sa
stolen by the
steals it.
Kaisa!
Kai'Sa stop. They said the shit alt. They said you not even get a chance for alt. I mean, sorry, a chance for spite.
So that's the Saints saying, we saw what you did in game one, GCG, and now we want to tell you we can do it too. We can do it better because we don't even need a smite.
I I was. This game is how do I say exceeding my expectations. The I just gangplank top. I believe the eight. That's the mid laner. So he's been flexing on all roles now. Oh, they go for the Herald. That's a beautiful play considering that the enemy jungler died, so might as well go for you know the objectives on the map. It's not as important with plates down, but I believe it can help take down mid tower because, as we said before, pushing versus Malzahar is almost impossible.
Yeah. Second
So definitely,
Herald is never about the gold you're getting from it. It's more about the map control that you get from it. So you want to use that to extend, to deny the vision range that the enemy team has.
they seem to be going in on the bot lane here. Just a good trade. The Tristana gets Zyra rooted. Sejuani was there to back up any play. But seems to be convert. Tristana jump. Oh, that was almost a huge punch. Tristana jumps in, but managed to get the walk away. Gangplank ult. Sejuani misses her ult. Leona has no health. She gets healed by the Tristana. They're both no HP on the tower, and it looks like a that. Oh, Kai'Sa goes in, tries to get a cheeky Q on the Leona, but gets gets turned back by the Tristana
I mean, Sejuani is
Q.
still walking in on the tower. She wants
Yeah,
that Leona kill. I mean,
there's
but they
five
need
of the
if they
team.
want that kill, they need to do it quickly.
Yeah.
They need to pull the wave away. Gangplank walking in,
Gangplank flashes
flashing,
in,
gets a
gets
Q
a
on. He's
Q.
walking towards Seju.
He gets touches the Jack's jump. The barrels will start hurting here. There's five of them though, so I don't. Oh, the
Zack's
what?
passive is popped. Tristana jumps away. I mean, Zack is
Yeah.
dead here, and Tristana
Gangplank
really
is
has
tanking.
nowhere to go. She's trying to kill the
Yeah,
minions, but they can just walk on in this
yeah.
tower and kill her.
Gangplank will
Q
also
comes up for
take damage.
Gangplank. One tapping Tristana. We now see a 3K gold lead
Mazuha's
with
TP.
Malzahar teleporting to the top
Mid
lane.
lane.
Oh no, mid
No,
lane. He
so
goes
yeah,
to mid lane to counter the Garen
but
push.
he still takes the tower. He Garen still takes the tower, yeah. And they take a top tower here too. So two towers for what happened bot. The goalie does reduce down to 2K. But it seems they're going to stay for the bot tower also. I believe they can get it. Yeah, they do get this. So the gold lead goes back to 3K. I believe it was two towers also bot lane, so they do trade two towers for two towers, and they get the kills.
I mean, they have really opened up this bot side of the map, which works really well for them. They have three dragons. If there's no towers on the bot side of the map, they can really walk into that jungle for free, put down
Sejuani seems
visions,
to be
set
caught in the
picks,
enemy
and
jungle. Leona ults. They're hesitating. Sejuani okay, so they trade back ults, but Malzahar does get a tower mid lane. So, map play wise, I believe the Saints are coming ahead on this.
they are coming ahead. I mean, and clearing out that mid lane tower goes back to what I was saying before. You have extended the shadowy area.
Yeah.
If you're Mufasa, this is the place that GCG can't go. They've extended that so far that they can freely walk into GCG's jungle, put down visions, set picks, ensure they get that soul point, and really make use of their gold lead. Because I mean, Hextech Soul is a really good Dragon Soul.
Yes. It works wonders for every champion on the Saints, really. A single Kaiser W, sorry, can turn into a pick. Gangplank ult can turn into a pick. Sejuani ult or Mazar. Like the slow is quite powerful and should not be underestimated. Especially it's not something that's always on people's minds. But
We do see both teams making their way to a dragon, and they're
yeah,
doing it early this time. The problem is GCG has all their team members in one place. The Saints doesn't yet.
but
Sejrani's
the
going
Saints,
in onto Leona. She gets the stun off.
yeah,
Tristana jumping away. Jack's hanging around.
yeah,
I mean,
but
nothing came of that, but
yeah.
now they have river control.
Yeah, and I mean the Leona is not exactly the one they like to engage on. They drop Herald bots. Okay, so they're trying to draw the Saints out into bot lane, but I mean they do have a gangplank and the whole team actually going to clear, so they can get what's it called, pressure in Drake pit while the bot lane goes. But I don't. Are they looking for a pick or are they watching for something? I don't know. They had pressure. They could have walked into the pit, but they just let the Saints go bots, clear the wave, and walk back mid. I mean, walk
And that
back to
was really
the
weird.
yeah,
For a second there, it looked like GCG had river priority, like they had
yeah.
complete control of the river and they just stay in the bush. So the Saints is starting up the dragon. It's down to 5,000 HP.
They go
Ultimate
in on the
comes out.
gang.
Garen going in. He's going in
He
the
also
gangplank. Gangplank
gangplank.
almost dead. All comes out, doesn't kill him. Back to the middle of the fight
Yeah.
where Zyra flashes away. You have Sejuani in the backline almost killing Tristana. That's two kills for the gangplank off of Barrow. Triple kill for gangplank. Kaiser cleaning up the rest of the fight. Shutdown actually going on the gangplank.
Yeah.
He gets a triple kill, but he dies. But that is a Drake going over to the Saints.
Yeah, and that's almost a clean ace. Tristana barely making it alive with 10 HP. She does have heal there, and I mean, it was holding on to the heal for that long was a bit iffy.
Are they
Oh, and they
running
go
to the
straight to
Baron?
Baron. Wow.
They're running
Did they
straight to
have
the
the
right.
damage
I
to
mean,
do it? I mean, they have
it
Kaiser
is.
Malzahar, but it's going to be
It's a good play.
close.
The only person alive on the enemy team is Tristana. She can't walk into a Malzahar or a Sejuani or a Zyra. So they do get the dragon and the Baron.
And
They
they're
just need to do it
melting it
in
too.
time.
So, I mean, Zyra plants, Malzahar, and Kaiser. I mean, they are shredding this Baron.
And
Ah,
that's
Gangplank is
it.
the
They get
second
the
off.
Baron. They get the Baron and they all get to walk
Yeah, they
away.
all just
So
run away.
I
There's no
think it's the
point.
biggest gold lead we've seen between the two teams across all three games because now there is a 5K gold lead, or is it 6K? Oh,
6K. No,
5K,
5K.
between 5 to 6K gold
No,
lead
5K.
between. Yeah,
I mean, at this point, what are you hoping to see from both teams?
I'm hoping to see the Saints do exactly what they did in game one with the Baron. Use it, like, don't let that Baron. Okay, we see a fight breaking out between
Okay.
Garen and Gangplank. Garen flashed and Gangplank giving chase. He still has a Hextech soul. He gets that slow wolf, and yeah, there's the
Well, he
slow. He
flashes
flashes
in
forward.
for the
He's
key.
going
But
in.
Zach
Zach using ults to peel for the Garen. Baron connects but
and
doesn't
yeah,
land.
the
Yeah,
Gangplank
so
connections too.
back to what I was saying. The Baron has to be used in some way. I mean, I think
Yeah.
they have about 50 seconds to Baron buff, and they have to use it to at least maybe get an inhibit to push themselves towards some sort of for the Elder Soul.
Oh, I believe that's what they're trying to do mid lane. They seem to be trying to get the mid lane tower to 3-on-3. Oh, 4-on-3, sorry. The Zac is going in for what looks like a pick. He lands on jump on swing forward, and the Leona follow up. Absolutely perfect. The Gangplank ult seems to be a miss. The Zyra ult interrupts the Zach and the Garen. The Jax is TPing on the backline, going in on the Malzahar. Malzahar dies and they go in, and Kaiser goes into support. She trades one back on the Garen, and the Leona doesn't die. On the bot side, though, Gangplank is taking the bot lane inhib, and it's a 3-for-1, but they lose their bot lane inhib.
Yeah,
And they seem to still be
Gangplank.
pressuring mid lane.
Yeah,
Kai'Sa with the
Gangplank
full
putting
health.
on his best
Oh
Sion
my
impersonation.
gosh.
Kaisa
It's
killing
just
Leona
killed
with
the
just a
Leona in
Q.
town.
Gangplank coming
And
fucking the
popping the
exact
Zac
passive.
passive.
Tristana has to jump away from this.
Oh,
If
it's a
she goes
double
in
kill.
and eats the
Jax goes
Hex
in.
Tech Soul bonus damage dying, Jax himself almost dying, Kaisa jumping
Kai'Sa
in,
goes in with the
landing the
ult and the
Q.
Q.
That is a 3-for-0. They still have Baron buff.
They
They
aced
still have
them.
Baron buff,
Yeah,
and it's the two strongest people on the team still alive. The
that's a
only person
2v4.
spawning anytime soon is Garen.
I believe that's a 2v4 ace. Yes?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a 2v4
that is
ace.
a 2v4 ace.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
get
they're
the
leaving
inhib and they.
the base. I realized that they could just run this Garen down and end the game there. But they're playing it safe, and we don't hate that. It would have been a lot more hypey
Yeah.
to just like keep the kill train going. But for playing it safe
Yeah.
is
I mean, they
the
take
right
the
choice.
topside jungle and they go for more waves. They have two inhibs down, so I'm hoping top lane. I'm hoping to see top lane being the point of contention here, and it's 7K gold lead now.
So top lane being the point of contention is it's definitely the straight play, but you
Yeah.
have two waves of super minions coming in. You can ignore the top lane and just put pressure. You can just people with it and say, "Hey, I'm ending this game now." There's nothing about it.
That is true. That is another like. I mean, they have the options. They have the champions to pull off these options. So we'll see what they go for. I mean, you definitely one thing you do not want is you do not want to give them time to free farm in mid lane and bot lane and catch up. I believe they're
Definitely
trying to
do not
ping in
want to
the
do that.
Jax top lane, trying to see if they can make a pick. The Jax just walks away. I'm guessing Mazahar does not have flash. Yeah, so Jax walks away.
You remember when they wanted to nerf, I believe it was Lux, and they took away 5 movement speed? If you actually give
The
Mazahar
Mazahar
5 movement speed there, he gets it. It's such a big one because Jax
They
dies
jump
there.
in on the other almost dies. Jax goes in. He's going on the Zyra. He managed to kill the Zyra. The Gangplank kills Leona with the ult. And yeah, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Kaisa has to go back. She barely leaves with no HP. Sejuani is going in on Tristana. Mazahar also Tristana. Kaisa goes back in with no HP. They manage to kill the Zac and the Tristana. Garen is going in on the Gangplank. He tries to ult and he dies before he can ult. Wow. I believe that might have been a 1-for-1 if he did ult, and the team is going in on mid lane, taking in towers. Kaisa is trying to play around Jax because she has no HP. She was thinking of backing, and Jax just brings Malzahar from 100 to no HP. He's going in, trying to save his team. His leap strike. He goes in on the Sejuani, and he gets kited, and the soul coming in with the slows, like you said.
Yep, XX so slow, very, very disgusting.
Yeah,
Unbelievably disgusting. Also, Kaisa started this with 10 HP, she's now at 600, and I believe this was game. Yep,
yeah, that's game.
that
That's
is
a
game. That is a
3-0.
3-0 for the side of Saints.
Yeah,
And that means Saints are the champions of the Republic of Gamers PC Masters powered by Contender tournament.
and they 100% deserve it. They played excellently, and I believe they actually improved over the course of the games.
They did. They did. We saw them going from no invades to invades. We saw them going
Yes.
from a lack of synergy to actually using using their champions together. And that means they claim
Yeah.
the first prize, 100,000 naira, going into the
Yeah.
pockets of the Saints players.
Yeah. I wonder what they're gonna do with it, but I hope them good fortune in anything they do with it. And I'd like to thank them for the fantastic games. I mean, obviously we can't sing their praise enough, and we should also know that Team GCD did play quite fantastically. I mean, they did make it to second place. They pulled off an upset over Team Citizens, I believe, for the first seed in the group stages, and I mean they made it quite far. They're not walking away empty-handed either. They are walking away with 50K, thanks to Republic of Gaming. But it's been quite a roller coaster. Let's just say that. The
Yeah,
bottom two
I
seeds fighting
really,
for first.
I really want to ask you, who are you giving MVP to this game? Well, actually, this
This
entire
game,
series.
this entire series. Uh, it's okay. It has to be the Star Wars. The Corki, the Corki, and the Gangplank. The Corki and the Gangplank. I mean, I'd love to give because okay, I try not to give it to like how do I say obvious plays, but no other player but a band from the opposite side. So I mean,
Look,
it has to
he
be
did
Star
the
Wars. It
work.
has to be
He
Star.
did the
Yeah, he
work.
did.
He did the work. That
Uh,
last game, Gangplank got first tower right after 14 minutes and continued to kill people constantly through the game. I
he
mean,
got a
it
solo
was a
kill off
solid
top
team
lane.
effort.
Yeah,
Sejuani's invades
definitely,
cannot be understated. They had
exactly.
proper objective control. We saw wards come out and we saw them counter gank multiple times. They shut down GCG's options multiple times during the game.
True.
And I mean, they closed it out. They got Baron, they
Yeah.
closed the game out.
I mean, obviously it was a team effort. I mean, it's hard to give a player of the game to just one player. I mean, on the side of GCG, I'll definitely give it to the top laner. I mean, other than the last game, he did put in a lot of work. And obviously, I like to say the team effort, but uh, if I have to give it to one player, it has to. I guess the Star of Money just has to get it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've seen good games. We got to congratulate the Saints again for making it through the entire. I mean, they started off with having to actually win tiebreakers to make it into the semifinals and into the finals. We also want to thank our sponsors, Republic of Gamers,
Game.
for sponsoring the tournament, for sponsoring the PC Masters, powered by Contender.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
we could only be here casting this because of them, and honestly, we can't thank them enough for sponsoring this tournament. We've got to see a lot of how do I say talent in Africa come out and play. We've got you would not think gamers when you think of most of Africa, but I mean from what we've seen, the plays cannot be understated. The plays can't be understated enough. Like we had enough people for a tournament, and in the future, after seeing this, I'm imagining a lot more people would love to come out and play, and you know it's a starting point. So we can't thank them enough for this opportunity.
yeah. And that brings us to the end of the Republic of Gamers PC Masters Powered by Contender tournament. Thank you for joining us along for this wild ride, ending in a 3-0, and we hope to see you at the next tournament.
Thank you very much, and catch you guys later. Stay safe.